Alright, the recording started. As I was saying, like today officially is the last chapter that we started, which is chapter 12. Would be in this chapter, the last thing that we'll be learning anything with the drawing. After this chapter, there is another chapter, chapter 13, very small one. On that chapter, we're gonna learn how to deal with the project. Okay, two different drawing we'll be doing on chapter 13. That is what coming in next week. But in today's class, we're gonna start with dimensioning. Okay, you guys already started with dimension in so many occasions, and some of you already finished the book as well. So if you finish the book anytime, if you don't need to if you read through the whole book, you may not need to listen what I'm saying today, because you might know already everything what I'm saying. Okay, but if you finish the book, only finish the exercise, then definitely you didn't read through the whole book, then definitely you may want to learn something what I'm saying. Okay, means I'll be talking about whatever is in the book. Obviously, I'm going to refer this PowerPoint here. I'll talk with the PowerPoint first. So let's start with that. So we have, okay, why I have chapter 10. I just opened chapter 12 here. Let me open it again. I'm sorry. So chapter 12, download. Yeah, I had chapter 12 here. Okay. So yep, I have chapter 12 here. Why the chapter 10 is here? Let me try to open. So this is chapter 10. Let me close it. Alright, so let's finish this chapter 12. So first of all, in chapter 12 would be adding text, modifying the dimensions, right, modifying the letters. So those are the things we'll be learning. Create multi-line text object. Now you can do single line, multi-line, but when you create a text inside the drawing, you literally can change anything as like in Word file. Means you can change the font, you can change the font size. There is an important thing to understand about the text, which is in the printout. Does anyone know in the printout what is the text height that you want? Huh? Like in a printout, like in the text height, right? You see, it doesn't read, huh? 6 inches in the drawing, but not in the printout. So see what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter if you have. You understand what I'm saying, right? It doesn't matter. Aiden, you are saying it. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with a big page, small page drawing, or any page of drawing. Okay. Your goal is to always put the text 1/8 of an inch. So that's your challenge. You understand? That's your challenge. Ryan, you got it? 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So that's your challenge to print it in 1/8 inch. How are you going to do that? So when you're gonna remember, when you're gonna put a text right in the model layout, Alex, you understand what I'm saying? When you're gonna put a text in the model layout, okay, you have a control to put the text size anything on the model layout, right? It means you may do like 6 inch as Caleb was referring, okay? You may do like anything other than 6 inch, 1 feet, whatever, right? But the thing is, standard text size needs to be 1/8 inch here. Now here's the catch. So usually the standard is you convert 1 feet to 1/4 inch. What does it mean? Say like you have 1 feet in the floor plan. When you're going to print it, you'd like to print it 1/4 of an inch. That is what 1 feet over there. Does it make sense? So if you have 6 inch over there, that is going to show up here. If you're going to use that scale, remember that scale I said 1 feet to 1/4 inch. If you're going to use that scale, if you're going to use the 6 inch for the text in the model window, it is going to appear here 1/8 inch. Okay. In the book, there's a math that shows that. Okay. I'm going to point it out when I'm going to come to the book. Okay. That's why the book is important. Remember, every time I was talking about it, even though you may not so much think from the book already when you're doing the exercise, but not necessarily everything. Okay. Book has the detail. Read through the book. It does that, right? Read through the book, everything. All right, now come back here. Okay, so we have so much goal and everything, right? Let's move on here. Okay, so first of all, where to find this multi-line text command? Okay, let me show it to you quickly. So you have this AutoCAD, right? So if you're gonna go AutoCAD, then Home, then Annotate, and then there is this multi-line text option, right? Obviously you have the single line option. The way it works is very simple. You choose the multi-line, you put like in the model window by clicking twice, right? First time you gotta click where the text will gonna begin, and the other time you're gonna click where it will gonna end, right? Kind of a rectangle. Okay, so there is a diamond sign on the right side. You're going to talk about it in the book. So you can literally move the width of the text any way you want. What is the benefit of that? Take a look here. Say, excuse me, you have all this text, right? I'm just putting some random text. So you see, if you're going to move it, all the text is going to get changed, okay? That's what it is talking about. And then once you have the text written here, first very important thing is change the text style. Okay, for now here we only have these two different style, but oftentimes you'd be seeing when you'd be doing exercise, you have multiple options, okay, to change the style. And then moving to here, you see you can literally change the size of the text, right? It's 0.2 inch now. You can type anything that you want. Say like you type 1. I'm sorry. Okay. You see, when you type 1, it will gonna later appear in the drop down menu here. So you can change the text size for sure. You can change the text of the text size, and this is so important. Everybody take a look here. So usually you have to define all the text under this dimension layer. Okay, where you would be doing this, you can possibly define it here under this home screen. We got to come out from that Annotate text editor first. Okay, by closing the text editor, you have to define a layer for the, as I'm saying, for the text or dimension. Sometimes they use DIM, sometimes they use dimension, whatever you wish to define the layer name. But you got to define the layer name for the text and the dimensions. If you'd like to do text as a layer, dimension as a layer, you can do it as well. Sometimes people do that if you have different things, right? Bottom line, whenever you deal with the text, you make sure this layer of the text is chosen. As of now, you don't have the text layer because you didn't define it, okay? And there are other interesting stuff as well, like you can possibly put the numberings, which you will be seeing. Numbering means like the bullet points, right? Bullet point numbers. Like you'll be seeing in one exercise how to put bullet point numbers, right? Those sort of thing. Line spacing, paragraph, all those components. And this is the most important one, symbol, okay? You'd be using in one exercise different symbols like plus, minus, you know, the sign for diameter, right? So those sort of thing. I guess that's pretty much it on this text editor. Then you can close the text editor. Let me move on here. So there are other options on the text editor. It's continuing asking, so you can do the spell check, right? You can change the font size, you can change the font type, you can change it to bold, italic, underline, whatever you want to do on that. And then this one is so important, text editor options, okay? Basically alignment. So there is the options called justification, okay? Let's do the text editor one more time. And anytime you have a text anywhere in the drawing, you double click on the text editor tab will gonna show up. Once it show up, this justification is so important, okay? Based on this justification, you can change it to the way it will gonna represent, whether left aligned, right aligned, center aligned, whatever, top, middle, bottom. I mean, you do have literally any options, right? So that's the justification, very important one. Okay, text editor option continues here.
You can insert the symbol I was talking about, right? So dimension symbol, or plus minus symbol, or any other symbol that you possibly want to add in the drawing. Then spell check, I was talking about that as well. Okay, and then here's the thing, like, adding text to drawing. But before I do any of this exercise, let me first open the book. Okay, so to open the book, I gotta open the email. So I'm opening the email, and the book was sent to me by the author. So let me open the book from here. Okay, so read now. Perfect, the book is now open. All right, so we are in chapter 12. Okay, I'll quickly show you what is in the book. Everybody seeing it? All right, so whatever is in the PowerPoint that we've seen is same thing is in the book. Okay, I'll just point out that one important thing that I was talking about, the text size, right? Let's see if I can find it. Okay, the symbol, then it was talking about the symbol. Came to exercise here. Yep, so this is the thing. Everybody please go to page number 507. Okay, the highlighted thing that I was explaining. Okay, let me read through one more time. Why was the height set to 6 inch, right? The 6 inch that you would be doing in the exercise. Shortly we'll be seeing it. The height for the text I was talking. So in the model window, the height for the text, you would like to put it 6 inch. Why? So that is so important, because the drawing will be printed in a scale of 1/4 inch from 1 feet. Okay, so if in real life it is 1 feet, in the printout or in the paper it will be 1/4 inch. So that's simple. Okay, so now if that's the thing, then the scale factor is 48. Why? Because 1 inch equal 1 feet equal 12 inch, right? So if your text needs to be 1/4 inch, okay, so that is like already 1/4 of a inch, and then you have a feet, right? So feet, 1 feet has 12 inch, and there is this 1/4. So the scale should be 4 multiplied 12, which is 48. Okay. It's probably depending on the version. I probably have which version you have? 2026. Okay, so some book it might be at 505. Okay, just type 505. Go to that page. Go to that section. This is so important. Why? The scale factor. You really need to understand the text scale factor. You really understand the text scale factor is so important. You got it? So why? You see, the scale factor is 48, and it's very tricky to understand why it's 48. You didn't understand why the scale factor is 48, right? So like you have a feet here, right? Say like you have a real life feet here. In the drawing, it will be like 1/14, right? The feet is gonna convert to 1/14. So in real life, as if like the model will be in real life, right? You type something 6 inch, right? 6 inches is so big, right? And in the paper, we'd like to see what 1/8 inch. Now you gotta understand, like one feet become what 1/4 inch. So 1 feet become so the scale factor is 48, right? Understand that, right? So that's 6 inch. If you're gonna divide 6 inch by 48, it will be 1/8 inch. Does it make sense? 1/8 is like this big, right? You don't wanna see the text in the paper that big. So 1/8 is the standard. Now that's the thing that I was saying, like the scale factor for 48, not necessarily for everything, depending on the paper size. What kind of paper you are using? Are you using A4 paper? Are you using like this architectural paper, which is what like 24 by 18, right? Are you using the big border paper? Like depending on the paper, right? Your scale factor could be completely different, and depending on the drawing size. So you be mindful of that. At any point, whatever your paper size, you must want to print it at 1/8 inch. Not necessarily with all the text. If you're going to come take a look with any of the drawing, you'll be seeing different font size everywhere. But the regular text, the standard text size should be 1/8 inch. Now if you have a title, you may want to put it a little bigger, right? Does that make sense? So that one is so important.
I hope I did clarify everything. Now, what we'll be doing next, obviously, we're going to start with the first exercise, okay? If you haven't done it yet, so just move into this. Oh, by the way, about the class agenda, what is happening? I'm putting it on record. You know, as of now, we are dealing with chapter 12, right? So chapter 12 is the last chapter that we are learning, where we are learning something new. Okay, after chapter 12, there is nothing new. Everything is done. So this is week 11, lecture 2, means week 12, lecture 1. This chapter 12 we're going to take 2 days. So this week 12, lecture 1 would be done completely with all new materials ever possible. Okay, so that means like in next week at the beginning on lecture 1, I'm going to be assigning you a project. If you haven't started your own project yet, I did talk about pretty much everyone, almost more than half of the people want to do their own project. Okay, if you haven't decided anything, some of you want me to do it, so I'm gonna assign it next week. Okay, at the beginning of the next week, so you'll have plenty of time. Okay, I'd expect you to submit it by 14th week, like the last week, right? But I'm gonna give you the deadline anyway when the final exam deadline is, which is week 15, Monday. Does it make sense? All right, so that's about the exam, about the project. And the last chapter, chapter 13, okay, not necessarily after next week first class you won't be coming here. You still need to come here every day to do the project and other stuff. Chapter 13 would be doing here as well. Okay, there is a new homework uploaded. Okay, take a look here in the Brightspace. It is homework number 12. There are 5 questions on that homework. Okay, those questions are from chapter 11 and chapter 12. Okay, so that's the homework I would like you to submit, and possibly that is the last homework as well, homework number 12. Okay, so after that homework there is just 2 more things left. One is the project and another one is the final exam. Now the chapter 13, depending on the class situation, if everybody is here, everybody finished that in class, I won't be assigning a new homework. But if everybody is not here, I'll be assigning another homework for chapter 13. Basically whatever you are doing it here in class, that is the homework, if not everybody is here. All right, moving into the class exercise. So here the first thing you would like to do, open this one, exercise number 1, 12.1.1. so you'd like to open it. So you gotta close this text editor, open this 12.1.1. Okay, so everyone please open this 12.1.1. Where do you find it? You know, it's in Brightspace, right? Once you open this one, then you gotta set the text as a current layer. So that's what I was saying, right? So use the text here as a current layer. I'm in the dimension. You gotta go to the home and finding text, this red one. Everybody see that? So text as a current layer. So that's what I'm doing here now. All right, so then you gotta find the text style to choose the room labels. Where do you find it? You gotta go to the annotate, okay, and then go here next to the multi-line. Everybody see what I'm doing? And then they're asking find the room label. Okay, so they have this room label here, so you choose this text style as a room label. Moving into step 4, and then they're saying choose the multi-line. Okay, I did choose the multi-line. All right, and then you got to pick 2 diagonal points in the upper left room to place the text box, which is here. So they were saying, okay, put 2 diagonal points right here, and then they were saying, okay, type this dining room, okay, and then they're saying you want to make sure this is 6 inch. Okay, that's what I was trying to explain, why 6 inch. So you'll be typing the dining room, and I have it italic default. Oh, let me change the style to italic. So you have this dining, okay, all right, so you have this dining room. All right, then repeat the process to add the room label to the remaining of the room. So you see here the kitchen, bath, bedrooms, living room, all those things you got to do now, and you got to repeat the process. So let's do that again. Okay, here's one important thing. So to repeat the process, every time you click on the multi-line, it's kind of tedious, right? So two ways you can avoid that. One is copying that dining room and paste it everywhere, the same dining room, wherever you'd like to put some text, right? And then edit it later on. Or the other way could be, if you can type in the command line m text, the multi-line will gonna come, okay? If you are good at typing, then possibly you want to go on that direction instead of clicking on multi-line text every time you'd like to put anything. Everybody understand what I said? Okay, perfect. So I'm assuming your typing speed is not that great, so I'll be doing this copy and paste, okay? My copy paste is done, and then I'm gonna simply edit it by clicking on those things. Say like the dining room now become living room. Then say like my dining room become bedroom. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna use this bedroom. I'm gonna copy and paste bedroom here. All right, now this is my bath. And obviously you can change the position to anywhere you want, so that is not a matter at all. So this is my kitchen. I think I'm done. And now if you'd like to move the position and make it a little center, you see the diamond sign, you can kind of drag it and put it like anywhere you want, right? The same thing here. You see, you don't need that much space. Change the bath and then literally change the position to anywhere you want. See, I don't need that much space. So basically just modifying things a little bit here. I don't need that much space. That one is all right. Okay, so the next thing is, once you're done with that, you see it says here, you may find it faster to copy dining room and then modify it later, which I did. And then you got to change the garage. You see, obviously the spelling of the garage is wrong. So if you're going to double click here, see, two things you got to do. First, the garage spelling you corrected, and the other thing that you'd be doing next to this, you have this 1 feet. Instead of 1 feet, you should change it to 6 inch, right? Then you got to choose the whole thing and change the size of the text to 6 inch. Now everything is in the same size. Okay, not only that, you see this garage and this living room has different text style. Okay, so to make it the same text style, you click on the garage, right? and then double click here, and then you click here and change the room label to text style to room label. Okay, so now the garage should be looking like that. Okay, so that's step number 11. Then step number 12 is done. So step number 14 is done as well. Once you're done with all of them, then you close the text editor. Okay, that's step number 15, and you're gonna save it. So you save it. Should be looking like something very similar what I have, and then we'll be moving into the next exercise. Alright, so I'm gonna now walk around and I'll make sure everybody start with the multi-text exercise that we just did. By the way, our goal is to do multi-text exercise and some dimensions today. Picking up, let's one thing that is missing, text. This garage is spinning over here, and the text style needs to be from. Tell me your target everything there. Whatever you want to do, done with everything. So I guess like what you guys can do, homework number 12, right? I uploaded it over there. It does have chapter 11 and chapter 12, 5 problems. So basically all the challenge exercise. You can focus on that and start planning to submit the homework number 12. Okay? So that would be my suggestion. Are you done with that? This one, the one that you do, the text. Yeah, where's the text? You okay. You listen what I said? Anything? Yeah, I know you don't have the book, right? So now how will you do it now? So what was the first thing that you need to do? Did you upload this? You're done with this? But you're done with the one that I showed you? So where is it open? Did I save it somewhere? No, you don't have to put it, I can stamp it, cross it out. Save it. So when I'm gonna come, find it. So can you understand what happened after the moment? And I have to redo everything.
small steps you will learn. Okay, you know that, right? Got it? Now what happened now? If you could have done it like when I was doing it, then you could have said this time. Alright, just follow my lead, everyone. Okay? If you haven't done it yet, follow my lead. That way you can save your time. You do the homeworks and everything, that is perfect, but you know, you gotta also deal with the class exercise. Alright, so the next one, everybody, I'd like you to open this 12.1.2, okay? And as you can see me, I'm gonna do a quick walk around. So if you have any question, you can resolve it. So 12 point, so the next one I'll be opening 12.1.2. Alright, so this one, so everybody should be able to open this one, and this one is also very important. We'll be still adding multi-line text, right? So once you open this, you want to make sure the snap is only endpoints, which I did. You see what I did? I did number 2, snap and running object snaps, right? Endpoint is running object snap. Then I would like to set text as my current layer. So you see, this is object layer, so I'm gonna change it to text, right? All right, so that's that. And then so here I can do the text as well. No, for dimension I shouldn't change it, so let's keep the dimension as dim, but the text again, under this home, I would like to change it to text. Okay, the text as current layer. After that, we want to make sure a few of the things, like the text style should be standard, which is default here. You see, we have it in standard. Now you'll have several lines to notes, so you're gonna use this multi-line. If you're gonna click here, you have single lines and multi-line. You're gonna choose this multi-line. All right, and then it's asking you where you'd like to put the multi-line. So you'd like to put this two corner where you'd like to put the text, right? As the way I'm showing it to you here. And then the rectangle added to the drawing to act as a guide to place the text where you'd like to put the text. Click on the upper left and lower left corners of the rectangle, which I did already, and then this thing will gonna show up. And then it says like you gotta assign the text height. So that is so important. So the text height as a default you see 0.2, right? But you'd like to assign it to 0.125. But if you're going to click here, there's no way you are seeing 0.125, right? There's no place it was seeing 0.125. So the way you can do it, they suggested what you can do, you're gonna type this 0.125, right? Instead of choosing it, and then press enter. Once you press enter, then now if you're gonna click on the drop down, you have 0.125 as an option now. Okay, so we'll obviously choose the 0.125 is the text height. So that's what they're saying, and then you see you gotta insert this text. Okay, there's this text, general notes, then material, MATL means material short form, SAE 1020 still. So SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, they have assigned the different material, different name. So steel 1020 is one certain form of steel, that's the assign here. Okay, and then all dimensions in inches unless otherwise specified. Dimensions are symmetrical about the diameter of 1.6 cylinder. All dimensions are plus minus 0.02 unless otherwise specified. Fillets and rounds are R means radius 0.01, that's the dimension, unless otherwise specified. Break all the sharp edges. So these are the text you'd like to put it here somewhere, right, in the drawing, in the model window. So the way you can do it is very straightforward. Just start typing it, and just like you are typing it in a Word file. So you want to make sure caps lock is on, right, because all the text are in caps lock. So you'd like to start typing. So general notes, and it's a little small in my case. Let me try to make it a little bigger so you can see. All right, and then another thing that you'd like to do, okay, and then press enter to go to the next line, right?
And as I said, like MATL means material short form. SAE is the Society of Automotive Engineers. They assign this certain form of steel is 1020 steel, right? And then all dimensions in inches unless otherwise specified. Alright, if you type something wrong, it is gonna give you a dashed line at the bottom of the text, so you may do the spell check and make it correct. But MATL is a short form of material. It says like, you know, dashed line at the bottom, but doesn't matter. We know it's the MATL is the material is correct. And SAE is the same thing. Like it doesn't understand what is SAE. It's all right, but it's a short form of a automotive society, Society for Automotive Engineers. All right. So then on the next line, you should be typing these dimensions, right? Dimensions are symmetrical about there's this symbol now you got to put, right? The symbol for diameter. So the place where you can find the symbol for the diameter is here, right? For whatever reason it's not showing you that symbol directly, but it's showing you the short form of the keyword, which is percentage of C. But don't worry, if you're going to click the diameter from the symbol, this diameter symbol is going to show up right away. And then you'd like to type the value of the diameter, which is 1.60, and then you'd like to type exactly, it shows here cylinder, right? I forgot to put a period from the previous line. All right, so then the next line is all dimensions are plus minus 0.02. okay, so there's another symbol. So what is the plus minus? So just after the degree there is a plus minus. We'll choose that. So this plus minus 0.02, okay, that's the value that you'd like to type after this plus minus. So 0.02. I put a space, they didn't put a space, so I'm taking out this space. I'm just following the lead. So unless otherwise, the spelling of otherwise was wrong, that's why this dotted line showed up at the bottom. So I corrected it, specified. Okay, the symmetrical spell is wrong as well, so I'm correcting it. Okay, so then I'm putting a period after that, and then fillets and rounds are R. So R is for radius, 0.01 unless otherwise specified. Okay, specified. All right, the last line would be break all sharp edges. Okay, and then if you're gonna change the width of this, you just click on the diamond sign and do the whatever width you'd like to put, right? And then once you're done with all the typing, you'd like to close the text editor. Now you can see all the typings are showed like this way, right? So the next thing would be double click on the text to open the text editor, which is this. You're double clicking and the same thing showed up, and then click and drag to general text, general notes. Okay, so you'd be click here and drag to general notes, the first thing. Okay, and then you'd like to do the underline as it says here, text editor formatting underline. Okay, and then the rest of the notes, so click and drag to select all the text except general notes, which is the way it is showing all the text like here, right? And then you'd like to make some bullets, so you'd like to click here under these bullet points, right? And then select the numbered, okay, from the bullet points, just like the way I'm doing. So that's step number 14. And then it says here, you know, click here on the diamond sign and change this to any size that you want. Okay, which I'm doing it this way. Okay, just like the way it is showing, it's pretty much the same thing that it is showing in my end as well. All right, and then release the diamond when text appears as shown, which I did. Another thing that you'd like to do, click on the general nodes and make it to center. Okay, which I did. Then you want to close this. Okay, and you want to save this. Erase the guide rectangle. And save the drawing. All right, so then this is your exercise problem. I'd like to skip that. I know you're going to be able to do that by yourself. Then I'm going to move to the dimension chapter. Okay, but before I do that, I'd like to make sure everybody have it exactly shown here what I have done. Now, Mary and Lucas, you guys have done it the book, so you don't have to show it to me. What about Caleb and Ryan? You guys have done it the book as well. We are finishing up that, so you don't have to show it to me. But I know you are following my lead. You're done with what?
I would put this one in.
Huh?
I'll do this.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Alex, like when I was working with Aiden, make sure you follow what I'm doing at the same time, so I don't have to wait. I can move on. This time you got it? Aiden? See, so many things to learn, right? Even the small stuff. So you double click on that, you click on the diamond, right? You see, that's what we're saying. The Navios multiplication, right? So you double click on that, click here, and see, position it as well. Things change immediately. You're good? You've done it? Okay. Alright guys, let's move on to the dimension. Alex, you're done or you're on the way?
I have the book, I'm fine.
Alright, so the dimension. Okay, on the dimension, you need some time? You want me to wait, Alex? You can deal with that.
Yeah.
See, so many things to do right here. The general nodes needs to be centered. All those things needs to be numbered, right? And the diamond sign needs to be used to change the size and everything. All right, so now come back to here, adding, modifying dimensions. That's so important. If you'd like to put some dimensions, this section is so important for you. Okay, and obviously there are so many ways you can do the dimensions, like the dimensional styles. Excuse me. Linear dimension, aligned dimension, radius dimension, diameter dimension, angular dimension, all those things we'll talk about it, right? Continuous dimension, that's something you didn't learn before or you didn't do it before. What is the baseline dimension? We didn't do it before as well. But any standard drawing you'd be seeing, they use it all the time. Continuous dimension, baseline dimension, diagram, associative dimensioning. That's what we learned in one class, I remember, right? Associative dimension means if you're going to change the drawing, the dimension is going to change it as well. Okay, so that's what is important as well. Now moving into this, so first of all, you must want to make sure the layer dimension is either created when you are putting a dimension, or if you are working with this exercise, you would like to make sure the dimension was chosen, because most likely they already created the dimension layer for you. Okay, so why the dimension layer is so important? I mean, there's 3 reasons they put it here. Okay, I'd like to highlight those 3 reasons. I'd like everyone to focus on this. All right, so these 3 reasons that they put, very important. Okay, first of all, if you'd like to use the dimension as a layer, right, then what happened? Then you have a liberty to change the color of the text, right, for dimension, so you can easily identify them. You have a liberty to freeze it anytime. So if you'd like to not show the dimension, you understand everyone what I'm saying? If you'd like not to show the dimension on the final drawing or in the model window, or anytime it's making clumsy or whatever, then you'd like to freeze that layer, right? Not only that, you would like to change the thickness of the dimension layer as well. Okay, does it make sense? So usually the object lines are the thickest, right? The hidden line is thinner. Dimension lines are usually thinner as well. but you could have like your own requirement, right? So all those things are so important, what I just explained here, okay? So lighter weight, frozen temporarily, right? Different color, so it can distinguish differently. All right, so where are you going to change it though? You're going to change it, the dimension I'm talking here, and the annotate, you have this multi-text line which we learned. Now the next to it, it has a dimension, and on the dimension tab, it does have like the options that you'd like to choose whatever the layer you'd like to use for dimension. Now obviously DIM is a short form of dimension. In this particular one, they choose the dimension DIM, right? But if you'd like to define a new layer, right, you can do it as well from this home, and then go layer properties, and then click here for a dimension layer, right? And then once you click a new layer, you define that dimension layer, and then you define everything else for this layer. We have done it before, so you know, everybody know this. All right, so that's that. Again, if you're gonna go here, annotate and choose the layer, this is gonna override the dimension layer. All right, so then anatomy of a dimension. What means anatomy? Anatomy means the dissection, right? So the detail. So first of all, dimensions are typically consist of the text line and the extension lines, right? The dimension line, text, and the extension line. The first one is the text, okay? The text depend on the type of the dimension. It could be length, radius, okay, diameter, or an angle value. Basically, these four things that we usually use for a dimension, okay? The dimension line is a line or arc, right? And the dimension text sits in on the top of, or depending on the style, as you can see here. The dimension text may be inside the dimension line, or which is this line is whatever arrow is pointing is the dimension line, or it could be on the top of that line as well, okay? You have these two options. And then the final thing is the extension line. The extension line is so important as well. There are two different ways you can put the extension line. So one is there is a gap in between the object and the extension line. Another one is there is no gap. So you'd like to usually prefer the extension line there is a gap, okay? And the extension line can be extended anyway, so it can be clearly representing. So that's all about the dimension, okay? So then the dimension style. Now how are you going to deal with that dimension style? If you're going to click here, and you see there are all different options, right, for the dimension style, okay? So you can do it like, you know, either this way, 4 places, or inside, or you can do it as a standard way, which is inside with like 2 decimal places accuracy, okay? And then you can change it to anything that you want, 3 place, 4 place, right? 4 place with the limit, annotative, and standard, okay? And basically annotative and standard is the same thing, okay? You'd like to, if nothing is defined, you'd like to go with the standard. But oftentimes you'd like to go 4 places. That one is so important as well, okay? What the 4 places refers, if you have a small space where the dimension needs to be only inside, you'd be seeing it in standard drawing all the time. You'd like to use these 4 places options, okay? I'm gonna go with the standard, and then let me move on, and then after this, okay, so there is these 2 different kinds of dimension, very important. First of all, this one, it will gonna detect automatically what kind of dimension you want, whether you want the linear dimension, you want the angle dimension, radius, or diameter, or whatever. It will gonna dictate by itself. So it will gonna create multiple lines of dimension within the single command session. So that's why this one is so important. However, if you'd like to choose or control your dimension, means like you'd like to go with, say, like linear only, then you're gonna click here under this linear and choose the linear. But if you'd like to choose, say, like a line or the angular or the arc, you just have to choose accordingly, okay? And then there is this another very important one, continuous or baseline, okay? We'll talk more about it, okay, shortly. Let me move on to the next slide. So there is this aligned option shown here, angular option shown here, right? this radius option shown here, okay, the diameter option shown here, okay, and continuous chain dimension, that one is so important. So take a look on this last image. Aiden, take a look on the last image, what I'm showing here. You don't have the book, that's what I'm saying. See, if you have a if you're going to choose this continuous dimension, you'd like to from one dimension to the next dimension, you just click on that continuous dimension and just go from there, from the first one, then automatically the next one will come, automatically the next one will going to come. So that's why this automatic dimension is so important. And don't worry, when I'm saying it, I know you won't be probably applying it, so don't understand it that much. When I'm going to do the exercise, you'll understand it more. Okay, again, just to understand the concept of continuous dimension, it means after one dimension is done, you just continue the dimension for the next one. As an example here, after 1.5, 1.75 or 2, right? So these are calling continuous dimension. Okay, and where it is located here. So if you're going to click here, this continue, you're going to deal with that, the continuous dimension. And there's this baseline dimension. I'd like to show you this one. You'd be seeing in a standard drawing, in a professional drawing, they use the baseline. So where's the baseline here? You see the left line, extension line is the baseline dimension. And you see when you're going to go further right on for these three different steps, you would be doing this based on this baseline left extension line. Okay, that's why this is called baseline extension dimension. Okay, the associative dimension is very interesting as well. Say like if you have a drawing and you change it anytime with the dimension previously drawn, and if you are this associative dimension is chosen, right, as an option, then all the dimension will gonna update it automatically. Okay, so that's what's so important. And finally, the editing dimension. That's what I'd like to say. You don't mess with that much, but the editing dimension, if you're going to choose the dimension, as I'd like to show it to you with the example. So like you'd like to choose one dimension, right? And then, sorry, not this one. So like, so like you like to choose one dimension, and then you can literally change the location of the dimension anywhere you want by using the grip option. Okay, and you can change the text size as well. And then there is this exercise. Okay, I'd like you to, all of you, to open this, the first one, the first exercise, which is which is 12.2.1. So all of you open this one. Okay, so our goal is to put those dimensions just the way it is showing, 12.2.1. I know this one is fairly easy compared to the previous one, and maybe all of you have done already. But I'll keep it as it is, and then I'll start talking about it shortly. Okay? This is the question. So how's
Yeah.
so the objects you are getting from the default
Yeah,
object,
just
the default one that we have in second part.
I mean, I can change it.
No, it's not. You may want to do one or two like custom one, right? So that way you'll have some exposure. You good, right?
I guess right now they're placeholders.
Huh?
So they're placeholders right now.
Yeah, yeah. And you have time, right? You know, at some point you'll be seeing like, okay, what else to do. Maybe you'd like to explore some more drawings right after you're done with this project. Yeah,
Well, I still have those second pages.
yeah, maybe you'd be done with the whole thing. Maybe you'd like to add the MEP as well. That could be interesting stuff. You know? Yeah, I encourage pretty much everyone to those who are in advanced state, right? Like especially Ryan and Caleb, you guys are almost done. Like, you know, Alex, you can do it as well. Like, finish the book as they said, right? This is week 11, right? You're kind of advanced as well. So you can finish the book, right? And from next class on, you start your project, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'll be doing what I'm doing, right? Anyway, because even if there is one student who didn't finish, I gotta still do it, right? Finish the book officially. That's what you're seeing me doing, and you may be sometimes seeing like a little boring, like when I'm talking too much, right? That's again the standard of me doing. I gotta specify each and everything.
So even one student have any confusion with any of the thing, that everybody can listen what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the standard of teaching. Okay. So anyway, I mean, my suggestion would be like, you know, especially even you also, right, finish the book, right? If you don't have the book, that's why you are in trouble. But others, all of you, like you guys are all in interest. You guys should finish the book, right, by yourself, and then come here and start dealing with the project, okay, from next week on. So that way you don't have to, you know, deal with this easy stuff what I'm doing. Did you like this?
Yeah.
You're done. So okay, you're done with that. Yeah. This one.
Yeah.
So let me finish the dimensions, okay? It's 11.2.1. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish this class shortly. Like I don't want to hold you for too long. I started around this time already. 1 hour we're talking, so it's way too much already. So you gotta first set the endpoint as a running object snap. Okay, so I think my endpoint is set as a running object snap anyway. Okay, so then this drawing has 2 views. You can add all necessary dimensions to fully describe the part. So set dimension as the current layer. So you wanna go here to home and make sure the dimension is your current layer, right? The way I just did. Okay. The other place you can do, you can come here, annotate, and use dimension as a current layer as well here. Okay. I would suggest you change the dimension layer under this dimension tab under annotate. Okay. And then once you're done with that, and then you wanna make sure your standard option is chosen. Okay. Remember, I was showing it to you. There are so many options, right? The standard options you'd like to choose. All right, and then you want to click on the linear. Okay, so like here, and then you'd like to specify like when you're going to do that, this 3 option is going to come. So you're going to click those 2 endpoints, and the third one would be where you'd like to put the dimension. Okay, so these 3 clicks you got to do to get the dimension like this way. 1, 2, 3 it shows here, right? And then you'd like to angle feature the right side view linear. You'd like to choose the linear again. All right, and you'd like to choose this dimension. So you're gonna click here. You're gonna go to aligned. Okay, never mind, they didn't do the align, they do the linear. So let me choose the linear. Okay, and let me put those dimension. Okay, so linear. So number 1, number 2, just the way they are saying, I'll be following the same step, right? This is number 3. So that dimension is done. The same thing that I'll be doing again linear. So number 1, number 2. You see, I have these 2 dimensions showed up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, remember that. And you are choosing the linear dimension only. There are so many dimensions, right? So that's what you want to do. All right, once those 2 dimensions are done, then you'd like to do another linear dimension. Okay, to do this 1.5. So I'm doing it 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that one is done as well. Now proceed to the remaining dimension, which is linear. So 1, 2. All right, so then the next one could be 1, 2. All right, the next one could be 1, 2, 3. All right, then you'd like to save this drawing. Now here's one thing, can anyone tell me why I don't have a dimension here on the left drawing? Because on the right side of the drawing is already defined 0.75. Makes sense? So there's this thing called in drawing a redundant dimension. If you are a pro, if you are seeing a pro drawing, you won't be seeing a redundant dimension at all. Okay? If this 0.75 is shown somewhere, you don't want to show it in another view. Okay? You know there are 3 different views: front view, side view, and top view, right? So anyway, so that is done. And as I said, these are very easy peasy stuff compared to what we have done. I guess the most difficult chapter is, what was the most difficult chapter you feel like? Chapter 10?
maybe the blocks. All right, so moving on. So let's deal with another one. So let's open 12.2.2. Before that, I'm gonna do a quick walk around. I'll make sure that everybody have it done. So I'm gonna open 12.2.2, but let me do a quick walk around.
Classroom comes that thing. Yeah, you can open this. This one I'm going to come up to next week, I guess. Yeah, I should have applied for my promotion when I had the tenure. I had the tenure 2 years ago. That time I was like, always, I should have. Now I got to do the promotion thing.
Ask for back then.
Yeah, I should have done it before. Long ago I had the tenure. Okay. Now these are you doing good? You haven't done it. No. I did. Good. You did that line, no? You don't know how to do that line. So, I mean, their line is good and everything, but not in this one. They don't show me the line. Why I'm saying it, I don't know. See, this 0.75, you don't have to do it. That's what I was saying, right? That's the code part. But you still have to do probably 2, but you can skip that with this 2 and here already. But anyway, this is the different dimension on the show. 0.75 is different. Now it's very specific. Alright, the next one you'd like to do obviously is 12.2.2. Okay.
So 12.2.2. All right, everybody have it open. So you have seen clearly, you have like some angles and align dimensions and all sorts of things like the architectural dimensions, right? You want to make sure first this object snap is on endpoint, which is this, right? And then you want to make sure, like, you know, from this drop down menu, the architectural is chosen. Okay, that's what's so important. So manage the drop down menu. So architectural is here under this annotative. Okay, you can literally do anything new as well if you'd like to do something new, but bottom line, you'd like to choose architectural. So that's what I was showing you here. And then once you have that, and then the first thing you would like to do, you would like to choose this aligned option, right? So you're gonna go here, go to this aligned option, okay, and then using the endpoint snap, you would like to put those 2 dimensions. The first one is 25 feet and 3 inch, right? And then you'd like to still doing the aligned option, right? And then sorry, you'd like to choose the aligned option, right? And you'd like to choose the second one. Okay, once you're done with that, then you're gonna go to the angular option, and then you're gonna choose these 2 lines with the angles that you'd like to put, which is 150. All right, the other one is you'd like to again choose the angle options for this angle. This one 120 as well, right? Okay, so now you'd like to use the stretch option, and you'd like to see that these are associative or not. Okay, if those are associative, these angles and the aligned dimension will gonna change with this. So to check with that, you gotta go to the home and you're going to choose the stretch options, right? And under these stretch options you would like to choose this area. Okay, press enter and then specify the base point. I don't know, maybe you can do the base point here. You see what I'm doing? If you're going to move it, the angle is changing as well. So let's try to do it like the way they did. So they have this 13 feet and 3/4. Okay, something similar that I did. But the point to be taken here that all those dimensions are changing as well. Okay, and then you'd like to save it. All right, and I'm gonna do a quick workaround and I'll make sure that you have this thing done as well. So the stretch option is little tricky. All right, what we are learning here, all the dimensions are associated. What does associated means? Is when the drawing changes, the dimension change with that as well. That's the associated. What you do it. Even you're done. Done. I'm still done with the batter. Just save it. Alright, so the next one would be 12.2.3. I guess that would be the. Should I do it? I guess I should stop because you see, like I really don't have that much. Okay, I'd like to stretch this class a little bit further. Okay, I should stop here because in next class maybe I'm gonna finish this chapter. Okay, I can finish the whole thing by today, but then there's not that much for me to do. Okay, so I guess like in next class I'm gonna finish this chapter, and so there's this thing. Wednesday there is no class next week, right? Did I say that? Next week Wednesday no class. Why? I'm going to a conference. Okay, so I'll announce it on Monday. Monday everybody come. Okay, Monday we'll talk more about it. And Monday is so important because I'm gonna assign the project if you haven't done it by yourself yet. Okay. All right. Anyway, don't have anything else, then I would like to end this class. It was good. All right. Perfect.